Audio Jungle.
You know, I think that the Mach Punch was wise there. You know, he needed it to outspeed that Togekiss, but knowing that if the Dazzling Gleam doesn't crit, his Conkeldurr can survive that attack. You know, I think that's really going to be the sort of gamble that this is going to come down to. Or maybe a dice roll would be the better way to phrase it. You know, is my opponent going to go for the Dazzling Gleam? Is it going to crit? And if it doesn't crit, can I get an Ice Punch? So incredibly close. And that kind of, you know, wire is literally the line between top 4 and a finalist here in Oceania.
It's a fine line.
It's a very fine line.
It's a very fine line, and we're already seeing yet another adjustment here coming out from Marco. Doesn't bring the Duraludon this time at the very front, but instead the Dracovish. But this might be a problem because Raghav still has that fast Excadrill on the field.
But think about what the Duraludon did for Marco in the past 2 games. Duraludon was essentially there to disrupt Raghav, whereas Dracovish is there to go immediately on the offensive. And when you have a Pokemon like Whimsicott by your side, you can get that Tailwind up, and we already know from the past game that is enough to outspeed the Excadrill.
Really fast. Brings it right down to its Focus Sash. So Excadrill going to be able to get off one more attack. It's going to be the Iron Head right into the Whimsicott, which also brings it down to its Focus Sash. But one of those has an immunity to the Sandstorm, and the other does not.
But again, this is another situation where the Whimsicott gets Tailwind up and then is immediately removed from the field. Another adjustment that Marco might have made would have been the Sylveon over that Duraludon. We don't know that he's brought it in the back necessarily. And if he sends out the Conkeldurr now, you know, this is a difficult spot for Raghav. Mach Punch will knock out that Excadrill. You know, a Vicious Rend is going to do a huge amount of damage to that Tyranitar. We've only seen Raghav go for the Dynamax on that Excadrill. You know, this is a really tough turn for Raghav, and I think that saving that Tyranitar for later and revealing an adjustment of his own is huge.
This is huge. We have the Milotic in the back. What an impressive turn 0 and turn 1 for Marco, though, and they will be able to get the knockout onto the Excadrill, securing that, and the Vicious Rend now having to go into the Milotic. It still does so much damage.
Dracovish is absolutely insane when it comes to that. But Milotic does have access to recovery. You know, it's holding leftovers. It does also potentially know the move Recover, which could come into play here. But that Milotic is still slower than the Dracovish. And there's only one Pokemon that Raghav has revealed to have speed control on his team, and that is going to be the Gourgeist, which he didn't bring. So this Togekiss now is forced to either protect the Milotic or maybe even consider Dynamaxing itself so it can try and deal some big damage to that Conkeldurr to knock it out. Raghav, unfortunately, just lost so much momentum with the simple switch of the Dracovish for the Duraludon as a lead from Marco.
Yeah, the Dracovish was an enormous lead, and now we're going to get a chance to see some Dynamax.
Some enormous Pokemon.
Some enormous Pokemon. Yeah, enormous leads, enormous Pokemon here in the top 4, and Conkeldurr is going to be the one that actually receives the Dynamax factor this time.
And I like that you go for the Dynamax here with Conkeldurr. When you switch Vicious Rend into Max Geyser, you lose the effect of the move that actually doubles the damage. So that is a smart pick there. Not only just because this Conkeldurr is so insanely powerful against most of the Pokemon on Raghav's teams, barring his Dynamax Pokemon in that Togekiss.
That is going to be that Togekiss. So a Dynamax versus Dynamax here on the field.
2 big Pokemon.
2 very big Pokemon. It's time to see some moves. Vicious Rend going into the Togekiss. Look at how much damage that does. You definitely would have wanted to Dynamax here because the additional health and the Max Hailstorm just from the Ice Punch. Look at how low it takes it, but it does survive.
It will have one opportunity to attack before the Hail will knock it out at the end of this turn.
Milotic going for the Hypnosis. Dracovish avoids it. Togekiss going for the Max Starfall right into the Conkeldurr. Does do a significant chunk of damage, but oh my goodness.
That Hypnosis, if it had landed against that Dracovish, that would have been absolutely huge. But unfortunately for Raghav, he hasn't had the opportunity to go for Coil to raise his accuracy. There is no gravity on the field, and that is just one of those moves you have to make. And he's given himself a little bit of an opening here, but that Dracovish is still going to be faster than the Tyranitar and the Milotic. Plus, you also have that Dynamax Conkeldurr to worry about. maybe Raghav can find a way to knock out one of these Pokemon before you know, his Milotic or that Tyranitar is knocked out. But it is a uphill battle for Raghav to make his way towards finals.
It is going to be a bit of an uphill battle, but the good news is that the Sandstream is going to reset the weather, so you don't have to deal with the hailstorm anymore.
Yeah, I think that's mostly to the benefit of Tyranitar, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's for the Tyranitar.
A little bit of special defense might be nice, depending on what Marco's last Pokemon is, but we need to find a way to reveal that Pokemon first.
Tyranitar protecting, just playing it really, really safe as Dracovish goes for the Vicious Rend right into the Protect. And Conkeldurr going for the Max Knuckle. It is going to connect with the Milotic, and it does get enough to secure the knockout.
And that attack boost as well will almost guarantee the knockout on that Tyranitar between the Dracovish and the Conkeldurr next turn.
Yeah, what a fantastic series between these players. I mean, I can't stress enough how real heads up that both of these players have decided to kind of attack this game and attack this series.
It was so incredibly close. And for Raghav to go from what you described as a very rough matchup in Swiss to bring it